everyone. This is Luca Majno here. We're back with Frank Gregory Ford. This is Global News Update on TLB TV, courtesy of the Liberty Beacon Project. And this is where we give you complete, backstage, up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. And for the 82nd or 83rd show today, we're going to be truthful to that too. By starting the show, Greg, we're going to, let me just segue this into honoring the TSALAGI Nation of Oklahoma. Yes, the TSALAGI Nation of Oklahoma. Actually, we're wishing them luck. And Greg, I'll let you go from there and hope you're doing good in California today.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, I'm just watching a moving truck back into my mailbox out front. So, needless to say, yes, that's actually, from those of us who don't know who the TSALAGI are, it is actually my Native American tribe that I was born into. And yes, the Cherokee, as we all know the Cherokee, are in terrible straits, all right? And why are they in terrible straits? I mean, it's not like the Native Americans haven't been in terrible straits ever since the benevolent white Anglo-Saxon Protestant benevolent white man, okay, we'll call him white man without being politically correct.
European.
Okay, yes, all right. Well, always remember, you know, hey, the Native Americans have been practicing Homeland Security since 1492, and there's plenty of good reason. First of all, they've been wiped out, you know, for the most part, since a high of what was it, maybe 2 million Native Americans when the white Anglo-Saxons showed up.
Oh,
okay.
in 1492, close to a million gone in less than 50 years. Yeah,
Yep.
97% of the Taino population of Hispaniola wiped out in less than 50 years. Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
one of the founding members.
let me just share screens with you. I just got a beautiful. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I've got it. That's one of the most beautiful pictures of Geronimo that I have ever seen. Goyathalay, from the Bedonkohe sub-tribe of the Apaches. And you can see he's wearing his gun. You can see his fists are clenched. He's wearing a beautiful blanket. It's something I wanted to share with you because that's what I'm using for a wallpaper on my computer. So we can start by honoring the First Nations, and I'm really glad we can do. What's going on with the Cherokee of Oklahoma now? There's a huge lawsuit, right?
Yes, there is a massive lawsuit, and it's funny. You don't hardly hear a word about it, okay, on our mainline news stations, okay? But here's what we have. We have a huge group of Native Americans, Cherokee, that have become addicted to opium, okay, opioid products. And to top it off, we have 3 of the largest pharmaceutical companies. Go online and you can find this, by the way. But the leading premier pharmaceutical company is someone called McKesson, and they're based out of San Francisco. They've already had the attention of the DEA, and the DEA has told them, knock it off, figuring out ways to kill 100 people a day in the United States thanks to opioid products, all right, opioid poisoning, all right, and they pretty much have said, and you can read their statements, they've told the DEA and everybody else to pound sand, all right? So here's the attitude, folks, of the big pharmaceuticals, okay? You know, what was it? I told you last week that, what was it, Eli Lilly, okay, one of the largest, has figured out a way that everybody is clinically depressed, okay? Everyone is clinically depressed. So they're going to treat you with fabulous antidepressants, okay? They're called SIAOs. You know, look up all the major massacres, okay, of depressed young folks that have wiped out, usually young males, that have wiped out churches, wiped out elementaries, wiped out high schools, wiped out kindergartens,
Mhm.
okay? Now, guess what they're on? They're on SIAOs, okay? So now, I'm not a genius, I'm not a philosopher, but something is deeply wrong here, folks. When the pharmaceutical companies can see the same annihilations that we can all see, you know, I mean, Columbine, Sandy Hook, you name it, take your
Right.
pick, all right? And what happens is they're on, all these young men are on SIAOs, usually adolescents and juveniles, and they can get access to weapons and they slaughter people. So in essence, what I'm saying is, where does a massive pharmaceutical company do all this lobbying to our politicians and get access to and permission to put a program together where everyone in the United States from the age of 2, that's what they're pushing. They're
Yeah.
pushing this, folks, 2 years old to 85. Okay. You know, that's a normal lifespan of most of us. Okay. They should be on antidepressants, mood modifiers. Okay.
Yes.
You know, amine derivatives. All right. So everybody should be basically doped up. What they're finding out is the government has been doping you up, okay, with fluoride, okay. And as I said on the last show, that they found that fluoride is the major cause, not of cavity prevention, which is the line of crap they've told everyone in the United
Right.
States, but it is a way of getting rid of and selling to the government poisonous, mining, toxic side effect minerals,
Yeah.
side effects, okay? Mining slag, for short, okay? So they sell it to the government and they make more money off of slag, mining slag, okay? Put it in your water, and they have found, quote, that it actually helps sedate you, depress your nervous system, make you more manageable,
Right.
okay?
I think it's
So,
also it's
you know,
also
it's good to know.
Greg, it's also worth noting that we're also ingesting the refuse from big pharma, from people that are taking their drugs that end up in the water as well, plus a whole lot of other stuff. But I had to throw that in because we are talking about big pharma.
Now, what is the purpose of the FDA? All right. Now, I can tell you the purpose of the FDA. It's real simple. Look at the employment history of people in the FDA. Virtually all come from big pharma. All right. Now, unless you're a moron, okay, unless you're an idiot, you're going to think, hey, a government agency that is supposed to be protecting our best interest,
Yeah.
made up of people that are made up of corporations, okay, that are supposed to be making money off
Right.
of you. Average return from a pharmaceutical drug, patented drug, of course, goes something like this. Figure out 50,000% profit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, gee, can you imagine anybody making money off of something where there's a 50,000% return? Okay. I was a marketing major in school. I was pre-med. All right. So that means I can even figure out what the motives are here about the FDA and protecting everyone. Okay.
Well, Greg, I also wanted to mention in my snapshot, we're going to talk about Rockefeller in 2 separate occasions.
Yes. No, never forget the coal tar derivatives that made the Rockefellers go into the medical business. And John D., okay, the original founder of the Rockefeller Oil, Ohio, as a matter of fact. Well, remember, dear old dad was his inspiration, and his dear old dad made a fortune off of selling snake oil. He was a traveling snake oil salesman, and he convinced his son that was where the big money was to be made, was selling snake oil. So what did John D. do? Okay, he did something like this. He decided coal tar, which coal tar is what's left after you refine oil and break it down to its components, gasoline, kerosene, diesel. So, well, what he did was said, okay, what's the sludge in the bottom? We can do two things with it. We can use it for road beds, okay? You know, everyone drives on tarmac, okay? Or we can make medications, okay? Which pays better, all right? They both do, okay? So guess what? That's how modern medicine came about. All those wonderful medicines with those serious-looking people on the commercials, you know, trying to struggle to find a way to get you a decent medicine, okay, for some usually some human-derived medical condition, all right? Guess what? You know, he did it. That's how we ended up with modern allopathic medicine. Okay. All right.
And also he talks about, I'm going to be talking about education and also about oil. There are two lies that I want to throw in there in Snapshot. So whenever you're ready.
And another thing too, folks, it was John David who said, okay, yes, oil is a limited resource that we have.
Oh, don't.
What did you find out today?
I got to tell you on Snapshot. I have it all lined up.
It's being made. Yes, and who started all those taxes from all our wonderful politicians? Those tax write-offs for oil depletions. It was John David, folks. Okay, so we've got everyone sticking it to the American public. Okay, the consumer, the patient, the victim, all right? In other words, hey, you know, it's all these folks around the turn of the century, and thanks to our politicians who are not doing their job, intent on not doing their job, the agencies that are supposed to be looking out for our best interest, you know, the FDA, the DEA, you know, Department of Agriculture.
They never have.
Supposed to be looking out for our best interest, okay? No, folks, you know, hey, I think things are apparent to everyone. Even though you're doped up by fluoride and you're being doped up by your own doctor to give you opium, okay? We've got my own Native American tribe being intentionally murdered and slaughtered, okay? What do you call 100 people a day being killed by one form of medication? Just one, okay? It's called mass murder, all right? And I read today, okay, that my tribe, yes, has faced reality, and they have actually hired, you know, a group of specialists, okay? We'll call them an army of lawyers. This is my tribe.
Right.
And surprise, guess what? Those three outraged, self-indignant, self-righteous mass murderers in these pharmaceutical companies have also hired a new army to fight against the Cherokee, okay, to fight against the Cherokee on their reservation. They're saying, don't sell it to us. And of course, guess what? And, you know, they have to deal with a lawsuit. And now the pharmaceutical companies, specifically McKesson, saying, you know, forget it. We're going to keep selling you, you know, murder in a jar. All right. Murder in a jar. And yes, the DEA has told us to stop it. Well, we told the DEA to pound sand. That's what they told the DEA when the DEA said, you're selling drugs that are killing people. All right. And they told the DEA to pound sand. Screw off. Fuck off. Hey, you know, who cares? You're not gonna sue us. That's where this country's medical pharmaceutical industry is right now. We're gonna sell you poison. You're gonna buy it, whether you like it or not. All right. And then people's response is, well, we're going to go to herbal medications. Okay. By the way, I did have a degree, okay, in naturopathic medicine, so I know a little bit about that. I found out, and this is about to happen in 2 weeks, folks, one of the best cures, okay, to prevent you from having Alzheimer's, okay, Parkinsonian tremors, Parkinsonian syndromes, okay, it goes on and on. There's a whole line of neuropathic conditions that you're getting from these these doping of our water supplies. And it's something called vinpocetine, okay, vinpocetine, all right? Very quietly, they found that it actually helps restore your memories to what they were, long-term memories, okay, and short-term memories, almost overnight. It's pretty miraculous. It's a simple little compound, okay? And guess what? It works so well, and this is how I find out when something works, is immediately the DEA steps in, Big Pharma steps in and says, oh yes, this needs to be prescribed. This needs to be prescribed. It means it's effective, folks. That's how, all right? So that's what we have here. Vinpocetine is going to be outlawed in 2 weeks, okay? First of the year, it's being outlawed, all right? And it is one of the most effective memory restoration agents you can come across. You can get without a prescription, okay? Funny thing, on the way to the forum happened here, okay? So that's what we have, all right? We have this beast, the CIA, okay, which is the attack dog for the rich upper crust 1.1% or whatever it is, okay, is attacking you, the citizen, okay? I expect this show to start getting static on it, don't you?
We're already getting static.
And what we have,
you're already dropping.
Right, absolutely. Okay, that's what we have here. All right, we have the CIA as point dog. By law, they are not supposed to be operating on U.S. soil. Okay, what do I find out? Not only are they operating on U.S. soil, they've subjugated and speak to other people. And the big joke is you're paying for it. That's how these creeps in the CIA
we're losing you now.
Do all this. They do it for the upper class to make money. And then, what was it, 2 weeks ago when the Marines stormed into Langley, they found evidence of 400 drug production sites being run by the CIA around the world. Guess who they're selling to? Hillary Clinton. Okay, don't we all just love that, that blonde bombshell, okay, with a big charging rhinoceros legs, okay? We just love her, don't we? All right. Well, Hillary has been working on a deal since 1993 to have Big Pharma do all kinds of bad things to you, the American citizen. Okay, in exchange for, quote, well, what is it? Donations to the Clinton Foundation, something ridiculous like that. Okay, and so what we have, okay, is Hillary, the Awan brothers. Find out who the Awan brothers are. AWAN. Okay, they're the conduit into Pakistan and Afghanistan for getting opium into this country.
Right.
Okay, she hires them. All right. So that's what we have here, folks. All right. So let me ask you this. Okay, we've seen this ridiculous disaster for the last 20 years now. Starting with the Bushes, George Sr. Okay, you think he's a kinder, wiser man who's been looking out for your best interest? Oh yeah, right. I got a bridge in Brooklyn. I'm going to sell you too. Okay, and folks, you ain't heard nothing yet on the Bushes. Okay, you think you have? You haven't heard nothing. All right. I had somebody call me today and said, look, all right. They called me from back east. They said, hey, it's the biggest group of Nazis, not communists, okay, not Illuminati, Nazis you've ever seen. All right. They haven't slowed down. They didn't get defeated in World War II. You think I'm joking? Think I'm making up? Think I'm crazy like the government says I am? Okay. Remember when I tried to stop all the torture in Iraq? Okay. That's what the government said, folks. So what we have is a situation where, yes, we've got Nazis dictating what is going on in policy in this country right now. Prescott Bush, Samuel Bush, George W. Bush, Oh, and here's a great humanitarian. What's his name? Marvin Bush, the security officer of the World Trade Center. Boom, brought down. Okay, yeah. And so I bring that up because guess what? I'm going into those Israelis. This will give us a chance to talk about what we wanted to talk about, Luca. Okay, those Israelis, the Israelis. How many times do I have to say this? Okay, we've already got the Middle East blowing up. Okay, and by the way, somebody tell Donald blonde bombshell Trump, okay, that no, Jerusalem was not the capital, okay, of Israel. Okay, it wasn't until 1948 that, and originally it was designed to be an international capital. Okay, an international capital city. All right. Jerusalem was, okay, the British designated it such. Well, in 1948, the Israelis stormed the place in addition with the Jordanians, and they divided it up, okay? Now, does that sound like it is the historical capital of Israel? Afraid not, all right? Afraid not, okay? And so what happens? To get the point across, to get everybody angry about those terrorists, okay, Israel comes in and blows up the World Trade Center, okay? Anybody contest that? Anybody want to challenge that? Remember, hey, you can challenge anything with me. I'm crazy. Just ask the government, okay? So here, what we have here is Donald Trump, just because he says it, folks, doesn't mean it's fact, all right? Donald Trump can't hardly figure out how to do anything militarily, but he wanted to be a tough guy. Okay, he had never had a day in government office, in political office, before he became the president of the United States. Okay, so what we have here is now, as a result of this, is we have Google being run by who?
CIA.
CIA? Okay, yeah, the CIA. Those two tousle-haired scamps, forget it. They're not as innocent as they come across as. No, they are run by the CIA, okay? Now, does that sound legal? Does that sound right to you? No, it doesn't to me either, all right? Me being in the intelligence business for 3 decades, I would say no, it isn't, all right? So we have something called laws, but that really doesn't apply to the agency anymore. And Facebook, hey, we all love Facebook. Well, here, think about this. All right, your face, your vitals going off to someplace far, far away, all right, called Israel. That's who runs Facebook. Yes, Facebook, okay? So then you tell me, and my blood pressure's been going up as you told me this, Luca, okay, is that they now have a relief organization for the victims of the World Trade Center. And who is it being run by? You go ahead and take it. I can't hardly even speak anymore. I'm getting so damn annoyed about this whole thing. Okay, go ahead and tell them, Luca.
Well, this is another part of Snapshot. So whenever you're ready, I'll do it, because I have a lot to say myself around that.
Okay.
So I'll let you finish.
Well, yeah, okay. All right, I think I told the folks this week, first of all, what happened in Benghazi, okay, what really happened in Benghazi, and how our ambassador there was murdered, intentionally murdered, okay. Yes.
As Obama watched.
By our contract terrorist, okay, Al-Qaeda, all right. They were hired to attack the annex. And yes, they were hired because there was more than 10,000 missiles. It was the Annex Consortium of Missile Marketing, okay, that were being stored there, okay? Now, as I said, about half those can't be located now. Uh-oh, something happened, all right? Think I'm wrong? Ask British intelligence, ask the Brits. Ask Hillary Clinton about the 400 surface-to-air missiles, okay, that she sold for an $8 million profit, okay? So, yes, That's what happened. There's no mystery about it. And, you know, as I said, okay, and something else came up today. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm on another soapbox. I tend to get on a soapbox with this show.
That's fine.
All right. The Las Vegas massacre. Well, let me see here. What did I hear? Something about the sheriff. All the news releases from the sheriff are now controlled by the FBI. Okay, the agent that's actually keeping track of all news releases by the sheriff of Las Vegas. Well, it turns out that he is married to this is the FBI agent, field FBI agent in Las Vegas. He is married to, who is he married to? Oh, he is married to a gal who runs a school district in California. Okay. All right. Hey, we can all marry school superintendents when we want. I guess nothing wrong with that. Well, yes, it is. Okay. I suspect something very naughty is going on. All right. Now, remember, I gave all my information about terrorism in Iraq and all the torture going on in Iraq to the FBI. Okay. The FBI, yes. And you also, and which can happen on this show, anyone can call in and get information showing that Mr. Mueller, okay, who is now investigating Mr. Trump, okay, for Russian collusion, actually knew all about the torture industry because he got my briefings, all right? The New York Times reported it. But getting back to a school superintendent, okay, in California, she has a last name, okay, that's very interesting, and everyone can recognize it. Her last name, before she was married to Mr. Wonderful FBI, monitoring all these news releases, was Podesta, okay, Podesta, Podesta, all right. Now, gosh, what is the connection there between John Podesta, the FBI, and Hillary Clinton, and as I said, the Saudis in Las Vegas? In Las Vegas, okay, something really smells, folks. We need to get somebody in office very quickly that's going to do something, that's going to straighten out, dismantle the FBI, okay? Good idea, huh? All right, good idea. Okay, when we have, and everybody just kind of shrugs it off, when this former director of the FBI was filmed by Israeli intelligence raping a 12-year-old boy, okay? Not that anything unusual about cross-dressing and bizarre homosexual behavior is unusual, okay, about the FBI. I think everybody agrees on that. But then you have the CIA, who's been working with Hillary Clinton to run the pedophile rings that are controlling all these people in power. Okay? So obviously, we need to have a great big enema, a national enema of our politics.
Top down.
And courts. Okay?
Top down.
Now, you don't have to.
The government tells the courts what to do. It's got to go top down. Everybody's got to go. Everything's got to go. I'm sure you'll agree.
You know, in my case with the Supreme Court, I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, you know, you've got a industrialized torture business agency that's, you know, recruiting countries all over the world so they could torture and maim and also compromise the politicians through pedophilia, okay, and white slavery and so forth, okay. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this country is bad, malignant, punctured through with pathologies, okay.
Yeah.
We've got to give an enema from the top down, all right? A great big enema, okay? Coffee ground enema, whatever you want to use. But I would love to see an enema, you know, being given to several of these agencies, several of these people in a prison shower, okay? That's where it needs to happen, in a prison shower, all right? Got it? Okay? So that's what we have now, all right? So by all means, please tell me about what's going on with this Israeli Relief Society. Isn't that great? They slaughter 3,000 people, and then they bring those buildings down. Then they have the goddamn nerve to offer up a relief agency and offer up to rebuild a memorial. Jesus, how come they didn't build us a new intelligence ship when the Liberty was attacked?
Right. Well, this is going to be how do they say that? Throwing people, you know, the water hose instead of giving them a little bit to drink. It's like throwing the water hose at them if we do it that way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screens with you from the beginning of my snapshot. Cognitive dissonance. It's revealed, and this is something that's really, really interesting, and I think it's a big problem in our society today. It's a mental conflict that occurs when beliefs are contradicted by new information. It's really interesting. If people want to put it on pause, or take a screenshot of these and download them, the Free Thought Project is really, really good on that. As you know, it's the same thing as this. You cannot force someone to comprehend a message that they're not ready to receive. But still, you should never underestimate the power of planting a seed. Greg, you're going to love this one. We live in an era of smartphones and stupid people. I should have emphasized smartphones and stupid people. Please hold. We're sitting there waiting for intelligent life. Please wait. Power outage at Atlanta airport causes pandemonium. I think this is, done deliberately to see how people are going to react when something real is going to happen. And this is what Greg is talking about. Yes, on the next show, I'm going to offer a little bit more information on the 9/11 compensation, as it were. We're going to find out more about from all the stuff from Christopher Bolin on the next show. Meanwhile, as we spend billions, we send billions to Israel, our infrastructure falls apart, and we're going to start seeing more of this kind of stuff. This happened in Washington, 7:45 in the morning, a derailment, and we're looking at what happened there. Pretty scary stuff. But this is where we welcome you to Agenda 21. There's Agenda 21, there's Agenda 2032, there's Agenda 2050. Most of them are named for their own reason. Here is Agenda 21 and how evil it is, and this is David Icke, who broke it down for us in different bullet points that I really would hope that people would stop and look at, because we don't have the time to look at them. But it's really important because everything fits. Greg, you were talking about the CIA earlier. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. William Casey, as we know. Look at the bottom. The bottom is probably the most important. Everything your government tells you is a lie. And there's a very clear reason for this. Telling you the truth doesn't serve their interests. The truth is the enemy of government, and the truth is what will defeat them.
First of all, okay, yes, William Casey was a monster. There's no question. And the interesting thing about William Casey is he has secret recordings of all the evil deeds he has done. Have you seen any release of those to the American people? They're the ones that were the victims. Okay.
Yeah.
What since our last show, we've had what? Two high-level murders. Okay. One was the doctor, the surgeon, who went to Haiti and said, okay, look, somebody's stealing, $100 million from the Haitian people. Mm-hmm. Nothing could be done. No clinics were started to help the Haitian people from that massive earthquake. Okay. So, what was it? Lorish, I believe that was his name. Dr. Lorsch.
Yes.
And he's the one who actually did the surgery to save Bono from U2.
Right.
That terrible bike accident he was in. Okay. Well, he was found dead, of course, with a butcher knife from his kitchen shoved in his chest.
Yes.
Of course, to show you how weak, what a weak piece of shit our court system has turned into. And of course, now he's officially labeled as suicide.
Right.
Well, we should say Arkancided because, yes, in Hillary's emails, guess what? There's several messages from him saying, you people are stealing the money made for these people that are suffering. You people are responsible. Hillary Clinton, okay. Now, Hillary murdering people that are a threat to her, that's nothing new, okay. What I don't understand is why are we even acting like we have any kind of law enforcement court system when somebody like Hillary Clinton, okay, and Bill, who have been CIA lapdogs for what, 30, 40 years, okay, CIA lapdogs earning $10 million a month that they know of that can be traced, okay, I've got the names of the banks, sorry, Bill and Hill, okay, that can be traced directly to them and the deposits in the Caribbean, okay.
Right.
So what happens today, I find out, you know, what was it? The couple, they're actually billionaires now, but they were found hanging side by side in their basement.
We talked about that on the last show. Yeah.
Okay. Well, make sure you let everybody know that has been traced to Hillary Clinton. All right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Zionism. We were talking about Israel earlier, and this is what I wanted to offer. Zionism is also your problem. Do you understand? The child saying it to you because most adults don't listen to each other. What's going on here? Detroit? Flint? So why did the U.S. just agree to give Israel $38 billion in military aid? Find out how much we're giving Israel every single day. It's in the tens of millions. Cowards fight with drones. Heroes fight with stones. Something to think about very quickly as we finish this snapshot for the day. Top of the news today: a researcher finds a new type of cancer in the microscope. It's called Israel. Greg, look at this. I wanted your opinion on this one. There are no innocent in Gaza. Mow them down. Kill the Gazans without thought or mercy. And this comes from a member of the Knesset, Michael. Of course, his name was cutely and affectionately called Hermann Goering Ben Ari.
I do want to go back to that couple that was murdered.
Yes.
You know what they did? You know what they did to be hung? They were forcibly hung, by the way. Okay. They were in the basement, side by side, hung. Gee, that's a suspicious death. Ask our listeners, is that a suspicious death when they're side by side hanging? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, it goes like this. Okay. He starts a generic pharmaceutical company. All right. And don't think that, the pharmaceutical companies in Canada and America sat still. No, he fought them to a standstill. All right. And the thing is that Big Pharma, okay, which has been supporting the Clintons, and if they've been supporting the Clintons, they've been supporting the CIA, okay, all the nefarious business with the CIA, which has been killing 100 people a day now, okay, right now, all right. They stood up, and that's what happened to them. So obviously, these monstrosities called the Clintons aren't giving up. They're not going to face the music. They don't see it, okay? Gee, what are they doing for Christmas? Well, they're probably murdering somebody we know now, okay? So we have here, all right? It doesn't matter how well-intentioned you are, what a hero you are to people like that doctor and these people, giving people medications that they can afford. Oh no, that'll get you killed in these circles. Okay, so they talk about waterboarding. All right, gee, Dick Cheney wants to waterboard everybody. Okay. Well, hey, I think we could get answers out of these people if you just put them in a correctional environment.
Right.
Okay. A correctional environment. They don't care about paying fines if they get caught. They just hire a bunch of pimped out loser lawyers, okay, parasitic lawyers to get them out of trouble, okay? And then if the case does go to court, okay, not like mine. Mine never went to court, okay? But they go to court. Guess what they find? Guess what you find when you go in your cases against the CIA? Guess what you find? All right. CIA appointed judges. What? CIA appointed judges. Since when does the CIA have the ability to appoint judges? Guess what, folks? They do. You don't think we need a big enemy in this country? You don't think we need to see the likes of Bill Clinton thrown into Rikers Island or Leavenworth? Think again. That's what we need. All right? I can't put it any simpler. That's what we need. Okay? And you need somebody to guide you through this process? Hey, there's 4 or 5 good politicians that can do it. Okay? So when you want to see our country straightened out, you're tired of being poisoned, you're tired of seeing your children retarded, by drinking poison water, okay? You're tired of seeing your kids die on opium overdoses. Hey, it goes on and on. You're tired of seeing chemtrails ignite radiation that is hitting our soil. That's why we have the highest level of radiation poisoning ever in the history of the world right now on U.S. soil. You don't think I'm right? Okay, look at the radiation from Fukushima and look at the cloud chemtrails. Okay, chemtrails that are, by the way, monitored by the Aviation Administration. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to, and then speaking of the Aviation Administration, now they're in trouble because they have been hiding the fact that Flight 800 was shot down in New York Sound, okay, Long Island Sound. It was shot down, and if you think I'm joking, go look at the reconstructed airplane and find the heat shear from seat number 32 when it was hit by a ground-to-air missile. Okay, I'll tell you who did it. Next show, everybody should be listening.
Right.
And I hope the U.S. Navy's also listening. All right. So anyway, there we go. We've had major disasters explained on our show this week alone. Okay, Oklahoma City, Benghazi. Okay, Flight 800.
It's all coming out. It's all coming out, just like the truth does, just like my grandmother said.
Truth will out. Okay, every situation. All right, that's what we have. So hopefully we didn't put anybody to sleep with this show, Luca. But hey,
no, not at all. Just a few last reminders. Oligarchy is ruled by the few. Plutocracy is ruled by the wealthy. Corporatocracy is a society governed or controlled by corporations. We have all three. Just to make you think.
You're missing one, Luca.
Uh-oh.
You're missing one. It's called kleptocracy.
Right. Theft. This is a really good thought on war that I never shared before. War is it's simply about mass murdering poor people for rich people to steal their land and resources. How can you want peace when you're constantly declaring wars against the poor? And this is really what the definition of war is. And if you take it home, look at this. Afghanistan, Iraq, Standing Rock. Yeah, wars on behalf of foreign oil interests. It'll never stop. There's a good example because I actually heard, I think it was you, Greg, that was saying that there were trucks and equipment straight out of Iraq that were in Standing Rock. 2 important things on Rockefeller before we go. I thought this was really interesting, and we were talking about this earlier. Oil does not come from fossils, nor does it come from decomposing matter. Rockefeller coined the term fossil fuels, inducing the idea of scarcity to increase profit, of course. The reality being that oil is actually a mineral which is constantly being regenerated inside the earth. So Rockefeller screwed up 2 things in my mind, and they're really, really big. The second one is about education. Little known fact. We are taught in our Rockefeller-owned education systems that the earth is terribly overpopulated. Well, as this meme shows you, it's simply not true. And the reason for lying is simply due to the fact that you can make trillions of dollars by promoting scarcity, just like you did with the oil. The problem isn't population, it's corporate greed, corporate government, and financially elite families who've been pulling the strings since the Roman times. And this is probably a good example right here, that awkward moment when a billionaire lectures you about feeding the poor. Anybody who remembers the Green Mile? I'm tired, boss. Mostly I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear in the world every day. There's too much of it. It's like pieces of glass in my head all the time. You know? I'm not impressed by your looks, your money, your social status, or your job title. I'm impressed by the way you treat other human beings. Okay? And this is something that I really want to share today. And this is what's missing in the world today. If you look at the polar opposite of the way we're living today, read my lips. You'll only hear this on this show. There's only so many heartbeats given to every human being. Many of your own have been used, right? For those that remain, serve, help others on their path. Use them wisely. You know, people don't talk like that anymore. Neither do they see grown men cry, which is the last snapshot for today. To the one soul reading this, I know you're tired. I know you're fed up. You're close to breaking. You're so close to breaking, but there's strength within you. Even when you feel weak, keep fighting. Greg, last few words?
Okay. Yes, I'd like to hear from some of our listeners, okay, because I feel that we need to go into all the issues too, on top of what we've already spoken about. I want to go into the entertainment field, entertainment business that is now being, quote, ravaged by sexual harassment, sexual innuendo, issues of Pizzagate, affecting our politicians, okay. I want to talk about something that is being obviously generated in a couple of industries, and what it's based on, okay, and how that affects people that have the ultimate security of this country, absolute security, being compromised by the same issues that are compromising our entertainment field, our education fields. All right, I want to talk about that next. All right, so I think we should, but I want to hear from somebody to give us some input and feedback. All right. So I think I'm asking our listeners to send in information on what you think we should be adding to our already enormous arsenal of information to them. They feel about issues that are changing faster than we can even comprehend. Now, every week there's something new. There's some accusation against some long-standing politician that I ask myself, why didn't this come out 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Okay,
Greg,
like Hollywood.
I was actually talking to my my next door neighbor. I'm sorry if we interrupt each other because the time delay. I was talking about exactly that to my my neighbor today at coffee. Every single thing is in layers, okay? You have the people here that think that the government will never lie to you, nor would they ever hurt you, nor would they ever do 9/11. Then you start believing, then you start understanding the truth, and it gets worse and worse and worse. It's all different levels, and people are stuck at certain levels, and I actually see it in my own family. And you have too, Greg, and your own. They're stuck at levels that you can't even talk to them about anything. You just feel like shutting up, and you can't see them anymore. You can't talk to them anymore. You can't communicate because you're on such a different level. So that's the way it is. And we're not responsible for changing people's minds. All we can do is be our sacred self and do what we can to help other people. And that's it. So,
that's good psychology. And it's important for me, after seeing things that have been monstrous in their generation, like Operation Copper Green. Who's heard of Copper Green? All right. But the thing is, it's one of the greatest monstrosities being committed in your name, taxpayer, in your name. You won't believe it. They don't show pictures. It's so hideous, you can't comprehend what's being done in your name, all right? And funny thing is everybody says, well, somebody ought to do something. Why don't they do something? Now's your chance to listen to this show and figure out what to do, all right? Who to contact and how to stand your ground, okay? The American people run America. I know what the CIA says. I know what NSA say. No, no, no. We hire them. We hire those agencies. We pay for those agencies. That's what I want to see, all right, as people coming up and saying, okay, yes, I want to do something. Yeah, all right, what can I do? And I don't mean say, yeah, somebody ought to do something. I mean, everyone has the capacity to do something. And if you don't think that capability is leaving us very shortly, you know, this, what is it, fair and even information transfer that is going to wipe out the internet, that's already passed, folks. It was very cleverly worded. And in January, you might not be able to see shows like ours or hear shows like ours, all right? Because guess what? Big money has done it again. The greatest threat that they had, the last threat that they really had was the internet, all right? Shows like ours, alternate media is the last savior, and boy, they are coming after you. This beast isn't going down without a fight, folks. Nope. So please, just take some time to send us some input. That's what I want to see, all right? We'll do it. I'll do it. Just send me some ideas and concepts of what you feel. Thank you, Luca.
Yes, sir, Greg, and thank you so much for taking your time out from a busy schedule and a crazy life for being on the show, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you again.
Thanks to our listeners. Woo! I said it before you did.